All right, so today we're going to talk about a place called Bell Labs. And look, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This one single institution pretty much invented the modern world. Seriously, the phone you're probably holding right now, the networks connecting us, yeah, their fingerprints are all over it.
So what if I told you that one single lab invented the transistor, the laser, and the very foundations of the internet? It sounds completely made up, right? Like something out of a sci-fi movie. But it's real. This was Bell Labs. For more than 50 years, they were this incredible idea factory, working on a scale it's honestly hard to even wrap your head around today. So the big question is, how? How did this happen? What made this place this unique crucible for just world-changing ideas? Well, it definitely wasn't an accident. It was a really specific and maybe, just maybe, an unrepeatable combination of things. At its core, Bell Labs created this whole new model they called industrial research. Think about it. It wasn't like a university, just focused on pure theory. And it wasn't like your typical corporate R&D lab just trying to make the next hot product. No, it was this amazing sweet spot, a place where scientists could ask the biggest, deepest questions, but they had the resources of a giant company to back them up. And that's the key, right? They occupied this perfect middle ground. On one hand, you've got the long-term, think big freedom you see in academia. On the other, you have the very real practical engineering problems that came from running AT&T's massive telephone network. They blended the best of both worlds. So what was the secret sauce here? Well, for starters, they had stable, almost unlimited funding from the AT&T monopoly. That's huge. It meant they didn't have to stress about quarterly profits. They could think in terms of decades, not quarters. And maybe most important of all, they put everyone under one roof. The physicists, the engineers, the mathematicians, they were all bumping into each other in the hallways every single day. And that led to this rapid cross-pollination of ideas. That's not just a fancy phrase. It was everything. I mean, think about it. A physicist could have some wild, abstract thought in the morning, bounce it off an engineer over lunch, and by the next day, an experimentalist could actually be trying to build it. That feedback loop, it was insanely fast and powerful.
Okay, so you create this perfect environment. What happens? Well, you get an absolute explosion of creativity. We're going to look at just a handful of the things that came out of this golden age, and trust me, the list it's just staggering.
Just look at this timeline. It's wild. 1947, boom, the transistor, the invention that underpins all modern electronics. Just 1 year later, you get information theory, the literal mathematics of the digital age. Then you've got the laser, discovering the afterglow of the Big Bang, the Unix operating system. The pace was just, wow. Relentless is the only word for it.
And we're not talking about small stuff here. The quality of this work was just off the charts. How off the charts? Bell Lab researchers won 11 Nobel Prizes. Let that sink in. 11. And it wasn't just in physics either. They also snagged 5 Turing Awards, which is basically the Nobel Prize for computing. I mean, that's just total domination across the board, from the physical world to the digital one. Okay, so let's break it down a bit. In communications, their main job, the stuff they did, was foundational. We're talking about the first active communications satellite, Telstar, the basic ideas behind fiber optics, even the concept of a cellular wireless network. They came up with that way back in 1947. Incredible. Then you've got computing. Their impact there was just as massive. Unix, the C programming language, C++, these things were born at Bell Labs, and they're not history. They are still the absolute bedrock of so much of the software we use today, from the servers that run the internet to the operating system on your phone. And we haven't even touched on all the other stuff that completely reshaped our daily lives. Forget just the transistor for a second. They invented the first practical solar cell, the laser, we mentioned that, and the charge-coupled device, or CCD. You know what that is? It's the tech that made every digital camera and smartphone camera possible. So you hear all this, and you have to ask, if Bell Labs was this incredible invention machine, where is it now? Why isn't it still the center of the tech universe? Well, ironically, the very thing that made it so special was also its biggest vulnerability. And this is the turning point, 1984. A court ruling forces the breakup of the AT&T monopoly. And just like that, the financial engine that powered the whole thing, the thing that gave Bell Labs its freedom and its security, was gone, dismantled. And the aftermath was like a chain reaction. First, that stable funding, poof, it's gone.
And without that safety net, the research focus had to change. It shifted from long-term discovery to short-term products. And eventually, the labs themselves were split up, sold off. And that incredible, one-of-a-kind culture was lost. The golden age was officially over. But, the story doesn't just end there. Not at all. Because even though the place changed, the ideas that were born at Bell Labs, well, they're still powering our world. Literally every single second of every day. So let's connect the dots on a few of these. Okay, let's start with the big one, the transistor, born in 1947. It was basically a tiny, solid switch that could replace those big, hot, fragile vacuum tubes.
And its legacy? It's almost impossible to overstate. Every single one of the billions, and yes, I mean billions with a B, of tiny transistors inside the chip in your phone or your computer, they are all direct descendants of that first one. Without the transistor, there is no digital age. It's that simple.
All right, so that's the hardware. What about the software that runs on it? Well, back in the 70s, Bell Labs also gave us the Unix operating system and the C programming language.
And their legacy today, it's like the invisible scaffolding holding up our entire digital world. Most of the internet's servers, they run on Unix. The operating system on a Mac, on a Linux machine, even the core of Android on your phone, all of it has Unix DNA. It's truly the ghost in the machine. And what about the phone in your pocket being, mobile? That idea didn't just appear with the first cell phones. Nope. It started at Bell Labs. Again, all the way back in 1947, with what they called the cellular concept. And that basic idea of having a network of small areas or cells that could pass your phone's signal from one to the next as you moved around, that is the fundamental blueprint for every single mobile network we have today. 4G, 5G, whatever comes next, it all goes back to that original concept. Which really brings us to the big final question, right? When you look at innovation today, it's all about startups, venture capital, and teams spread out all over the world. That old model, that centralized, monopoly-funded idea factory, it feels like something from another planet. So, could another Bell Labs ever exist? Or is it just a perfect storm? A moment in time that we'll just never see again? It's a fascinating thing to think about.